Some souls pass through this world like stage lights, brilliant, fleeting, unforgettable. Among them are the actors, storytellers of human emotion who gave voice to joy, sorrow, hope, and heartbreak, one role at a time. Their faces became familiar companions in the quiet of our living rooms, their performances etched into our memories, like scenes we never wanted to end. Though the cameras have stopped rolling and the curtains have long closed, their presence lingers, hauntingly alive in every frame they left behind. Today, we pause to honor those luminous spirits of the screen. While countless other greats, musicians, writers, scientists also left us in this same year, this tribute is for the actors, the ones who made us believe, feel, and remember long after the credits faded. Carol Wayne, born in Chicago in 1942, painted the small screen with her radiant smile and sharp wit. As the matinee lady on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, she was a vision of glamour laced with humor, enchanting millions with every quip. Yet beneath her dazzling exterior churned a sea of personal turmoil, a storm she could not outrun. She slipped away in 1985 at 42, lost to the ocean's embrace during a vacation in Mexico. Fame can dazzle, but it cannot shield the soul from silence. Neil McCarthy, born in Lincolnshire, England in 1932, carried a face that seemed carved for the uncanny. His towering presence and piercing gaze made him a natural for roles that lingered on the edge of humanity, like the monstrous Calibos in Clash of the Titans, 1981, where he unleashed a primal intensity. For years, he wrestled with epilepsy, a silent foe that shadowed his brilliance. He left the stage in 1985 at 52, his final curtain drawn too soon. Every mask hides a truth, every performance bears a burden. Nicholas Colasanto, born in Providence, Rhode Island in 1924, brought a tender warmth to the chaos of the bar. As coach Ernie Pantuso on Cheers, his gentle confusion and heartfelt quips made him a beloved fixture, a man whose simplicity masked a depth honed by years of struggle. A heart attack silenced him in 1985 at 61, but his laughter still echoes in every clink of a glass. He taught us that wisdom can wear the face of a lost soul and love the voice of a friend. Louis Hayward, born in Johannesburg in 1909, was a dashing emblem of Hollywood's golden era. His dual role as brothers in The Man in the Iron Mask, 1939, showcased a charisma that could light up any screen. A World War II veteran, he returned to an industry that had changed, yet his charm never dimmed. Lung cancer claimed him in 1985 at 75, a battle his on-screen sword could not win. The sword he wielded, on-screen, could not duel with time. Edward Andrews, born in Griffin, Georgia in 1914, was the kind of actor who made every scene better simply by stepping into it. With his round glasses and affable demeanor, he played authority figures, judges, fathers, bosses, across the 1950s to 1980s, always with a twinkle of humor and depth. His heart gave out in 1985 at 70, but his legacy remains in the countless stories he helped tell. Some actors never play the lead, yet without them, the story collapses. Michael Redgrave, born in Bristol, England in 1908, was a titan of British theatre and film. From his breakout in Hitchcock's The Lady Vanishes, 1938, to his commanding stage presence, he spoke with a gravitas that echoed Shakespeare's thunder. Parkinson's shadowed his later years, but his legacy as the patriarch of an acting dynasty endured. He passed in 1985 at 77, leaving behind a whisper of genius. He spoke Shakespeare with thunder, yet left us with a whisper. Scott Brady, born in Brooklyn in 1924, embodied the rugged American spirit. With a gravelly voice and a steely gaze, he carved a path through westerns and crime dramas, most memorably as the titular hero of Shotgun Slade. His characters walked the line between justice and survival, a duality he carried until his final breath in 1985 at 60, taken by respiratory failure. In a black and white world, he walked the dusty path between justice and survival. Kent Smith, born in New York in 1907, brought a quiet dignity to every role he touched. In Cat People, 1942, he portrayed a man caught between reason and myth, his understated intensity, a perfect foil to the supernatural. Across decades, his refined presence graced both film and television until heart failure silenced him in 1985 at 78. His strength was in subtlety, his legacy in restraint. Richard Haydn, born in London in 1905, was a master of eccentricity. His clipped diction and whimsical charm shone in films like Ball of Fire, 1941, and as Max Detweiler in The Sound of Music, where he stole scenes with a knowing smirk. A heart attack took him in 1985 at 80, but his laughter still echoes in the roles he left behind. In every oddity, he found humanity. In every quirk, a truth. Murray Matheson, born in Australia in 1912, carried an air of mystery that made him unforgettable. His soft voice and enigmatic gaze were perfect for The Twilight Zone, where he played Felix Mulholland with haunting allure. A veteran of mid-century television, his tales often danced on the edge of shadow. Heart failure claimed him in 1985 at 72, leaving his stories unfinished. He lived between shadows and spotlights, always just beyond the frame. Dawn Addams, born in London in 1930, was a vision of elegance who became a princess through marriage. Her roles in British cinema showcased a rare balance of glamour and depth, her beauty a canvas for stories of grace and resilience. Lung cancer stole her light in 1985 at 54, but her nobility, both on screen and off, remains eternal. Royalty in title, but nobility in spirit and grace. Edmund O'Brien, born in New York in 1915, was a force of intensity on screen. His Oscar-winning role in The Barefoot Contessa, 1954, and his gritty turn in DOA, 1950, revealed a man who could unravel a character's soul with a glance. Alzheimer's dimmed his sharp mind, and he slipped away in 1985 at 69, leaving behind a legacy of raw, unfiltered talent. He chased truth in every role, even when the script offered only shadows. Selma Diamond, born in Canada in 1920, brought a biting wit to the screen that could cut through any scene. As Selma Hacker in Night Court, her gravelly voice and sharp humor turned every line into a masterclass in comedy. A lifelong smoker, lung cancer took her in 1985 at 64, but her laughter still lingers in the airwaves. Her voice was a rasp of rebellion, her humor a spark that never dimmed. Barbara Jung, born in Hong Kong in 1959, was a radiant star whose light burned too briefly. As Huang Rong in The Legend of the Condor Heroes, 1983, she captured hearts with her intelligence and charm, becoming a beloved icon in Chinese cinema. Struggling with inner demons, she took her own life in 1985 at just 26, leaving a void her fans still mourn. Her smile lit up the screen, but her heart could not bear the weight of its own shadows. Margaret Hamilton, born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1902, was a cackle etched into cinematic memory. As the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, 1939, her green face and piercing laugh terrified and captivated, a villainess with a heart, hidden beneath the menace. A heart attack took her in 1985 at 82, but her broomstick still flies through our dreams. She wielded fear like a spell, yet left a trail of wonder in her wake. Richard Green, born in Plymouth, England in 1918, was the very image of a swashbuckling hero. As Robin Hood in The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1955-1959, he brought chivalry and charm to a generation, his bowstring taut with justice. A heart attack felled him in 1985 at 66, but his legend still roams the forests of Sherwood. He fought for the AE, downtrodden on screen, a hero whose arrow never missed the mark of memory. Clifford Evans, born in Wales in 1912, carried the weight of classic drama in his bones. From his early stage roles to his haunting presence in A Midsummer Night's Dream, 1934, he brought a quiet intensity to every performance. His life ended. In 1985 at 73, his cause a mystery, but his craft a monument to the power of subtlety. He spoke in whispers, but his presence roared across the stage of time. James Craig, born in Nashville in 1912, was a leading man whose chiseled features lit up the 1940s. At Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, he starred in Kitty Foyle, 1940, his charisma a beacon. In an era of stars, Lung cancer dimmed his light in 1985 at 73, but his silver screen glow remains untarnished. He was a star in a constellation of giants, his shine a quiet defiance of time. Mickey Shaughnessy, born in New York in 1920, was the gruff yet lovable sidekick of Hollywood's golden age. As Elvis Presley's mentor in Jailhouse Rock 1957, he blended humor and heart, a steady hand in a world of rebels. Lung cancer took him in 1985 at 64, but his warmth still radiates through the roles he left behind. He played the tough guy, but his heart was the softest part of the story. Louise Brooks, born in Kansas in 1906, was a silent film icon whose rebellious spirit defined an era. Her bobbed hair and piercing gaze in Pandora's Box, 1929, captured desire and danger without a single word. Hollywood cast her aside, but Europe crowned her a legend. She died in 1985 at 78, her obscurity a quiet victory for a woman who lived on her own terms. She spoke louder in silence than most could in song. Gail Sondergaard, born in Minnesota in 1899, was a trailblazer whose elegance masked a steely core. She won the first Oscar for Best Supporting Actress with Anthony Adverse, 1936, her enigmatic presence a hallmark of classic cinema. A stroke ended her journey in 1985 at 86, but her legacy as a pioneer endures. She wore mystery like a cloak, her eyes telling stories words could never hold. Evelyn Ankers, born in Chileto British parents in 1918, was the scream queen of the 1940s. As Gwen Conliffe, the Wolfman, 1941, she faced monsters with a grace. That Belitha terror, her beauty a beacon in horror's shadows. Ovarian cancer claimed her in 1985 at 67, but her courage still shines through the darkness. She screamed for the screen, but her strength was the truest sound she ever made. George O'Brien, born in San Francisco in 1899, was a silent film star whose rugged charm defined an era. In Sunrise, a song of two humans, 1927, he bared the soul of a man torn between love and redemption. A stroke ended his long life in 1985 at 86, but his silent gaze still speaks volumes. He told stories without words, his heart the loudest voice on the screen. Lloyd Nolan, born in San Francisco in 1902, was a versatile talent who could play heroes and villains with equal finesse. As Captain Queeg in the Kane Mutiny Court-Martial, he unraveled a man's psyche with chilling precision. Lung cancer took him in 1985 at 83, but his performances remain a masterclass in depth. He played the captain, but his true command was over the hearts of his audience. Rock Hudson, born Roy Harold Scherer Jr. in Illinois in 1925, embodied Hollywood's golden illusion, tall, masculine, untouchable. Yet behind the smile was a man forced to live in shadows, his true self hidden from a judgmental world. When he died from AIDS in 1985 at 59, he shattered that illusion and helped ignite a movement of awareness and empathy. He lived behind glass, but in death he broke it and let in the light. George Savalas, born in New York in 1924, brought a quiet warmth to his roles, often in the shadow of his brother Telly. On Kojak, he was a steadfast presence, his loyalty grounding the chaos of crime. Leukemia ended his journey in 1985 at 60, but his gentle spirit endures in every frame. He stood in the shadow of a star, but his light was always his own. Yul Brynner, born in Russia in 1920, was a king in every sense. His commanding turn as the King of Siam in The King and I, 1956, earned him an Oscar, his shaved head and piercing gaze a symbol of unyielding strength. Lung cancer silenced him in 1985 at 65, but his regal presence still rules the stage of memory. He was a king on screen, but his true crown was the courage he wore until the end. Orson Welles, born in Wisconsin in 1915, was a titan of cinema whose genius reshaped storytelling. Citizen Kane, 1941, was his magnum opus, a labyrinth of ambition and loss that mirrored his own complex life. A heart attack took him in 1985 at 70, but his shadow looms large, a giant among men. He built worlds with his voice, and in his silence, those worlds still stand. Jan Norris, born in California in 1940, was a rising star of the 1960s. In Splendor in the Grass, 1961, she captured the ache of youth with a quiet intensity, her beauty a canvas for unspoken dreams. A brain hemorrhage stole her in 1985 at 45, leaving her story tragically unfinished. Her light flickered briefly, but its warmth still lingers in the hearts she touched. Phil Silvers, born in New York in 1911, was a comedic genius whose energy could light up any room. As Master Sergeant Ernest Bilko in The Phil Silvers Show, he turned mischief into an art form, earning the nickname the King of Chutzpah. Heart failure claimed him in 1985 at 74, but his laughter is a legacy that time cannot erase. He turned chaos into comedy, and in doing so he made the world a brighter place. Eugene Ormandy, born in Hungary in 1899, was a maestro whose baton wove magic through music. Leading the Philadelphia Orchestra, he brought symphonies to life, and his rare on-screen roles carried the same elegance. Age took him in 1985 at 85, but his notes still dance in the air, a timeless crescendo. He conducted life with the same grace he brought to music, each note a testament to his soul. Anne Baxter, born in Michigan City, Indiana in 1923, was a chameleon of the silver screen. From her Oscar-winning Turn in the Razor's Edge to her cunning Eve in All About Eve, she wore ambition like a second skin, her eyes always telling more than her lines. Private and fierce, she left us suddenly in 1985 at 62, a stroke cutting short her transformative journey. She mastered the art of transformation on and off the stage. Ricky Nelson, born in New Jersey in 1940, was a teen idol turned timeless talent. On the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, he grew up in America's living rooms, his charm as natural as his voice in hits like Travelin' Man. A plane crash took him in 1985 at 45, but his melodies still echo down the roads he traveled. He sang of wandering, but in our hearts he'll never truly leave. 1985 took with it voices we loved, faces we trusted, and talents that quietly shaped generations of film, television, and theater. Some were icons, others were the souls behind the curtain, whose absences felt most deeply in the spaces they once filled without fanfare. Each left behind a flicker, a smile, a line, a scene, a silence that lives on. And so we remember, not just how they died, but how they made us feel alive. If these stories touched you, consider subscribing. Together, let's keep their memories burning bright in the quiet corners of time.